Welcome to this week's episode of Your Stock Request for the 25th of March. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director at Fairmont Equities. Your Stock Request is the weekly video where I take your requests and analyse the share price charts. This week we have ALS Limited, Grange Resources, ASX, Vital Metals and Megaport. So if you have a request, send it through. Make sure you're getting the newsletter each week. If you're after our best ideas, you need to be getting the Dynamic Investor Report, which comes out on Tuesday. But if you do enjoy these videos, we'd love you to share them on social media or even leave us a review on Facebook or Google. Our core business is portfolio management, so if you'd like to work with me directly and have me call you with any of our best ideas, then please let me know. I'll explain how that works. And any advice here, of course, is general only. So ALS Limited, which has the stock code ALQ, very nice trend over the last year. We could see just putting in those consistently higher highs, higher lows, but we can see during February, we've had this sort of blow off top where it's gone from moving sustainably to just this huge move that was then sold down pretty quickly. So I think that's left it vulnerable for the time being. If we're looking at all these previous lows as key levels of support, we can see that the prior low here has been broken. So in other words, the uptrend now looks broken, and now we just have to see what our ALQ is going to do from here. It's got a bit of a short-term bounce, but I don't know if that's going to kick on. It might just be a bit of a dead cat bounce. So we've seen a sharp move, breaking the low. It is trying to rally, but it may well have to come back deeper. So we need to see this consolidate a bit more before I'd be interested in picking it up. Grange Resources. So we can see over the last several months, it's made a lot of progress, doubling in value, but the trend's been, or more than doubling in value, but the trend's been very sustainable. So we could see here, we're not seeing any crazy moves, just sort of nice, steady moves. But then of course it started to accelerate at the end of February there. So I think when you enter a stage where you're making sustainable moves and then it goes from 45 cents to 50 something, and then it ends up close to sort of 60 cents all in a few days. I mean, that's where you need to, when something's as extended as that, that's when you need to, I guess, tighten your stops and look to take something off the table. So, I guess when it, had that rejection and closed flat on this day and then sort of opened lower and couldn't rally here, that was a bit of a short-term top. But look, ultimately, it just seems to be consolidating. So it's easing back on decreasing volume. The uptrend still looks good. Naturally after a move like this, it needs to consolidate. So I think the longer term trend is fine. It doesn't look negative. And I just think at some point it will be a buy again. We just have to let this consolidation finish up. ASX. So we'll look at a weekly chart. We can see here that, okay, we could see here that after the March low, it rallied, sort of came back after hitting that peak, and then looked like it could have sort of broken to a new high, but we could see it was definitely sold down pretty heavily for these few weeks here. So that was a negative sign. So after being sold off heavily there, rejecting off that high, it's come back and it's retested these March lows, and to me this looks like a nice reversal here. So we've got sort of this double bottom now at the bottom of the range. So I think it can head higher. Obviously this $80 level will offer quite a bit of resistance. So yeah, upside from here, you may well get resistance at $80. Okay, Vital Metals, we'll move back to the daily chart. So look, this has been trading really well since the middle of last year. just sort of nice, sort of consolidates here, then you get a nice breakout, sort of follows through there, another big consolidation, breakout, retest, rally, doing all the right things. However, most recently, it looks like this breakout here has failed. So we've had a push here to go higher, then it's gapped down, and we've had a few negative days. So I think that's, I think there's downside risk here. It's clearly struggling to get through this 8 cent region. So I wouldn't be rushing into it. I just think this needs to flatten out. Hopefully it can do something like this or like this, where we just get a bit more of a consolidation, and then I think it'll be ready to go. Megaport, so we can see from September it's just been in a clear downtrend. So all the highs are just getting lower and lower, the lows getting lower and lower. So downtrend, probably more risk to the downside here. If I have a look a little bit closer, we could see most recently after this rally here, it turned lower right on this January low. So sometimes that can lead to a bit of an acceleration to the downside. However, to counter that, we can see there has been some good buying here, anywhere near $11. So look, it remains to be seen what happens here, if it does accelerate down or if it can try to stabilize here. I just think it's too early to be buying this one. Need to see a little bit more evidence of buying. All right, well, that's all for this week. If you have your request, send it through. I'll try to look at your stock next Thursday for you.